Morning everyone, Kathy here from Dirty Booty Soaps, and today I'm doing a remake, and this was the very first soap I ever made, cold process. This is wine soap, and I'm going to give a shout out for the recipe. Comes from Brambleberry's Anne Marie, her book Soap Crafting. This is the recipe I'm using. She does hers in a different mold and does this twist thing with it. I'm not doing that. I'm just going to be like layering my two different colors. And I'm going to be using a big slab mold. And I boiled my wine. That's the kind of the first step, is boiling your wine really well so you get all the alcohol cooked out of it. Because otherwise what can happen is you'll get like a volcano action when you go to add your lye. And I probably could have boiled mine a little harder. I doubled my batch and I kind of simmered instead of really out and out boiled. So when I went to add my lye, it did kind of foam up on me, but I was right there watching. I just added a little bit at a time. I got it to calm down before I added more lye in, and it took a little longer, but I got all my lye in and everything was good. So we're using all wine for my, instead of distilled water, I'm using all wine. I'm using a Merlot wine. So this is a dark bar of soap. If you're not into the dark bars of soap, this is probably not for you, but I do love this soap. The sugar in the grape, in the wine, makes for a better bubble in your bar of soap. So, and I find most people like the aroma. We used BerryWine Fragrance, also from Brambleberry, and I really like the fragrance. My husband doesn't like the fragrance, so he's really gonna hate life today because I'm making wine soap. But I really like it, and I find probably 90–95% of the people who've smelled my wine soap really like the wine soap. So, anyway, we're gonna get started, and I've got my oils in here. I'm going to add my wine, my lye wine. Instead of lye water, it's a lye wine. And then we'll get started blending it up here. So I've doubled my recipe because I wanted to make quite a few bars of this. I found it to be a very popular bar of soap. So, and also, just to note, when you make wine soap like this, recipes, it doesn't smell great when you add your lye in. It's a terrible odor comes off until you start making the soap, really. So I do mine. I was out in the garage with the garage door open while I was mixing my lye in. Because the fumes are pretty terrible. So, just a note. But I do love this soap. So we're going to blend it to a very light trace. Burp my blender. You can always fast forward through the blending part. I'm using my big kettle today just to blend it up, and then we'll mix it into two separate batches. She says you want it to get to the consistency of about a melted milkshake. Light trace. The last time I did this, I think I over blended. so I'm not going to quite do as much as I did before. I think we got a good light trace going here. So now I'm going to split this into 2 batches. I've got my 2 bowls here. Be very careful. I'm going to move some of this stuff out of the way here, actually. I don't know why I had that glass sitting there. Anyway. So I'm going to pour about half into here. And into here. Maybe more than half into this one. So I'm going to clean out my bowl here. Every time I use this, I always say like I feel like I'm crawling into it to get it cleaned out. It's such a big pot. And I notice this does thicken up. And I haven't put anything in it yet for color yet, so keep that in mind. Okay, so I'm going to set this off here. Get that out of my way. Now I'm going to get my little mini stick blender. Here. I'm going to mix my titanium dioxide. So we put part of the titanium dioxide in, actually most of it in this one. The rest goes in here. And then you want a couple teaspoons of Merlot mica in this one as well. Take my blender back. I'm going to trap my mica underneath. Kind of mix it up here. It's thickening really quick. So we're going to give it a little jizz here with the blender. Now see, I just brought it to a really light trace, and it is already very thick. I'm going to pour in half my, or a little over half, because this is a bigger, of my fragrance oil, the BerryWine. The rest will go in there. I'm just kind of going through it here, because I don't want to overblend. Like I said, she does hers in an upright loaf type mold with a divider in, and then does this swirl technique. I don't have that mold, so I'm going to do this. Usually I do it in the smaller loaf molds and just layer. This one I'm doing, like I said, in the slab. That looks really nice. So I'm going to get this one mixed. Try to. And then I'm going to put my my blender in here and give it a work over here. And per her recipe, I'm soaping around 120, and that may be why it's thickening up. going to stick that in there. I'm going to switch places here. It's a big batch of soap. Like I said, it's a very popular one. Okay, so give it another swirl here. Smells really good. So you can see the different tones of brown here. This one, which just has the titanium dioxide, and the other one has the Merlot mica. All right, so I'm gonna not overdo this here with the blender, just because it is getting really thick, and I want to get it into my slab. So we'll go here. So I'm going to start with my darker, start pouring here. It's it's like really thick chocolate pudding. But it smells so good, and it is a really good soap, so it's kind of riced a bit, looks like. I'm putting most of this in. I'm going to save some for the top. Spread it around here evenly. We'll go over with this lighter one now. Pretty much all of that in. And I'm going to spread that. It looks like chocolate cake, I swear. Looks very delicious. But you can tell it did rice, so which is okay. I'm just going to tamp this down on the floor a little. And then add the rest of this to the top. Just kind of this should be interesting. It really thickened up on me. I was hoping it wouldn't be that thick so I could get a nice swirl, but we're not going to be swirling much here. So just kind of spreading this even. But I find this mold was a perfect size. Like, so usually I do it in 2 smaller loaves, and then I end up having extra that I have to put in flower molds, but I wanted to make sure I could do this all in one pour. So there's that. Now I'm going to try and get little bits of the lighter here and there. Maybe I can do some kind of a textured top on this. Be one of the probably the last soaps I do before we go on vacation. So let's see what we've got here. Try and smooth this kind of down a bit. And then I'm going to tamp it down and we'll see what we can do there. So I don't know if I'll be able to swirl anything here. A little bit. Not really, it's very thick. See if I can tamp this down again. So there we go. It's not the prettiest. I'll give it a spritz. And maybe try and tamp it again. So there's that. And let me see she says here. Pouring. No, she doesn't say to cover it or not, so we're going to leave it uncovered, and we're going to let it sit. And then we'll be back to cut it. I should be able to get 3 loaves, and I don't know how many. We'll get maybe 10 bars out of each, so about 30 bars worth. And so then we'll be back to cut this when it's ready and show you the final bars. It does smell fantastic, so we'll be back. Okay, we're back and we're ready to cut our excuse me, our wine soap. And first I wanted to show you, because some people were asking how the color was holding up on my coffee soap that I did the other day. Well, not the other day, it's a few videos back. But anyway, they want to know how the color held up, because it has vanillin in it, and I did color it with titanium dioxide to lighten it up, and I wanted to see how it cured. So it's been, I don't know, it's probably been 5 weeks or so, 6 weeks maybe, but this is how it's held up so far. You can see it's a nice creamy color where I added the titanium dioxide, and the smell is really nice. If you like coffee, this is a nice fun soap. And then also I'm going to point you out to a couple other videos that are fun, and this is really the new thing, these moon cakes. And these are a couple of the Epsom salt cakes that I did, and they're so pretty. And you just drop 1 or 2 of these into your bath. You can fragrance them with any fragrance that you like, or essential oil. These happen to be yuzu. I've done them in lavender as well as peppermint, and they're really fun to make. So that's another good video to watch. I do have a video on the mooncake bath bombs as well, so take a look there. This is the little wedding cake soaps that I did the other day, the wedding favors, and they are just the most elegant little soaps. So those are curing, but you can watch that video. And the This has been like the most popular video I've done so far. The yin and yang soaps. And it's a great technique. It's a lot easier than some of the ones I've seen out there. Some people like go to extraordinary lengths, and I found this technique worked really well. These are scented tea tree oil, and it's just a nice smooth, look at that sharp line. They turned out great. So you can check out that video. That's my yin and yang tea tree soap video. So we'll get back to the job at hand here. And this is cutting my my wine soap. I split into 3 logs, and you can see the color variation there. And we're going to get some nice, good sized bars out of this. I'm not going to skimp on the bars. They smell fantastic. Like I said, my husband doesn't quite care for this, but I really love this soap. Like I said, it bubbles up really nice, and that's from the sugars in the wine. So there we go. My whole dining room smelled just lovely from making this. And I love it. It's one of my favorites. And you know, I have to tell you, I did this one as my very first ever cold process soap because I had bought Anne-Marie's book, Soap Crafting, and this is one of the recipes. And I thought, wonderful way to use up all that wine because we went and bottled our own wine, and we get it home after it had, you know, done its thing at the bottling place. You have to wait a certain amount of time, of course. And we started drinking it, and I was like, ugh, I don't like this wine. It had just a weird funk tang to it. I just didn't care for it at all. And now we're stuck with like tons of bottles of this stuff that we don't drink because we don't like it. So this is a way for me to use it up. And I'll just, you know, a couple bottles here and there, make some wine soap. So that's, that way I don't have to go buy soap to make these, or buy wine to make these soaps, I should say. You know what's on my Christmas list? One of those fancy soap cutters. Anyway, this works just fine. But I love you can see the layers of the different colors. Looks great. We're going to be leaving in just 2 weeks for Hawaii. We're going to be there for 3 weeks, so I won't be doing any soap videos during that time. But if you're interested, and you can tell me in the comments below, I can do the occasional, like a touristy type video showing what we're doing and where we're at, and some of the sights and sounds in Maui. That's up to you guys. I just thought that was something fun I could do for you. Okay, so here's a small one for myself. So let me know if that's something you'd be interested in seeing. We're going to be in Maui for 3 weeks. You know, sun and sand and sights, and I can share some of that with you all if that's something you'd like. So let me know. In the meantime, you know, thanks for watching our wine soap video. I'm going to cut the rest of this. I won't bore you, but it smells fantastic. Oh my goodness. I love this BerryWine Fragrance from Brambleberry. And once again, her book is Soap Crafting. Let me get that for you so you know what you're looking for. She has some great recipes in here for soaps and techniques and how-tos, and this is the book you're looking for, Soap Crafting by Anne-Marie Fayola. She is the soap queen, so if any of you watch her channel, this is one of her books. So this is where I got the recipe for the wine soap. So not my recipe today, it's her recipe, because it's so popular. And I think it smells fantastic. And I have done this same soap using, instead of red wine, I use Pinot Grigio. And I bought the Pinot Grigio fragrance to use in that one, and that one turned out turned out good as well. So just little variations you can do. So thanks again for watching. Go check out our other videos using the mooncake presses as well. I got my little wedding cakes, and the most popular, the tea tree soap. Check this one out. It's a fun technique. You can change it up with the colors you use and the fragrances, of course. And then here's our coffee soap, which turned out really well. It's okay. Well, thanks again for watching, and we'll catch you on the next video. Let me know if you want to see Maui, and we'll do that for you. So everybody have a great day, all right? Bye-bye.